There is this weird thing that happens when you're passionate about something, but you convince yourself you can't do it. I spent 2 years doing exactly that. Not because I ran out of ideas, not because I was lazy, but because of something much more stupid than that. 2 years. No videos, no posts, nothing. Why? I'm a tech content creator who quit because I can't make tech content if I don't have tech. I know how that sounds, but stick with me as I unveil my content creation master plan. Here's the story I had running in my head. To make tech content, you need tech. Obvious, right? You need the latest laptop, the right camera, the gadget, the setup, and at some point I just didn't have all that. Not that I have it now, but you get the point. So I convinced myself I couldn't make videos. At the beginning I didn't really quit content creation entirely. I started doing gym content. I got some kind of small audience locally, but it still didn't feel right. Sometimes people would come up to me, my friends or even random dudes I met on the street. They would come to me and ask me about the gym videos I made. They asked me to give them some advice and I would gladly help them, but it still didn't feel right. I felt like I was running from my old YouTube channel, from a part of me, from TechSage. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy going to the gym and I love making content about it, and especially helping people out at the gym. But that's only one side of my identity, and doing only that never made me feel whole, and I ended up quitting that too. So by then I totally quit everything. I moved on with my life, cutting this stress of having to make content. I thought this would help me lower my stress and make me feel better, but it only made me feel like a loser. You need X to make content about X. Here's what actually happened. The more tech I was surrounded by, the more I thought about it. I'd see a random second-hand listing and feel this weird pull of thinking about that listing for a few days. Or I'd walk past my friends talking about some phone or tech feature, then stop and talk to them about it. As I have a good expertise on a lot of tech fields, I pretty much explain to them why that's bad or why that's good. I will do that for literal hours and never get bored of it, because I was enjoying tech more than anything. I had the skill to make tech content all along, but I didn't even realize it by then. After quitting content creation, I had a really bad period for around 6 months. I was pretty depressed and started to become somebody else, developing a nihilistic state of mind and quitting little by little every single hobby that I used to enjoy. Leaving content creation even drove me to lower my grades, going from an A student to a D student. And as I have pretty strict parents, this hit me very hard. For a while I convinced myself this was a dopamine problem. Too much screen time, too much content, fried receptors, the whole thing. But that only made me feel worse than I ever felt. When I quit YouTube, I didn't just feel like I quit making content. I felt like I cut a random part from me and I left it there to rot. It was a big part of my identity. Quitting didn't only make me feel bad mentally, but physically too. I started getting sick pretty often, feeling miserable and hopeless, and getting stuck into this loop of pain and regret. At this point I think that detoxing is only done to make you itch to do that thing again. And then there is Dan. Dan is one of my closest friends I ever had, and we both go to the same college. So one day we were going home together. I was doing my usual stuff of complaining about random stuff. That day's subject being the fact I can't make tech content if I don't have tech. And Dan just looks at me, straight in the eyes, dead serious, and tells me, "You don't need tech to make content about tech." And I wanted to argue, because I have a pretty big ego. But when I opened my mouth, nothing came out, because deep down he was completely right, and I had somehow never thought about it that way in 2 entire years. By the way Dan, if you're seeing this, which you better be, this channel exists because of you, so thank you. What Dan said opened my eyes. I was in the bus then, but ideas of content started rushing in my head, and I ended up writing about 12 to 15 video ideas. I was impressed. Usually it will take me around a few days only to come up with an idea. This healing process started with Dan. Then with having hardcore content on my For You page, and little by little my motivation has started to fill. The bar started to increase. I started feeling better, and here I am once again in your feed, trying to teach you stuff from my experience. For me, for TechSage, tech is just so much more than just a tool. Tech, for me, is a part of my soul. And this goes back, way back, when I was around 5 years old. I had this toy laptop and the speakers just stopped working one day. I didn't ask anyone for help. I didn't even know what made me do it, but I just did. I opened it, disconnected the wires, reconnected them, arranged the speakers back into their place. That little magnet wasn't sitting exactly where it was supposed to be, and I just put it in its rightful place. And it worked. I was 5. I had no idea what I was doing, but something clicked that day that had nothing to do with the toy. I realized I could understand things, that if something was broken, I could figure it out, that the insides of a machine weren't scary. It was just a puzzle waiting to be solved. That feeling never left me, and eventually it grew into something I couldn't ignore, into this passion and my new identity as tech sage. Creators are supposed to create. I began thinking like this after I understood that I'm supposed to make tech content, that I love tech, and that everybody has some kind of natural call to do something. For example, even my friend Dan likes to create programs. That is his call and he's supposed to do that. If he would do the same kind of detoxing I did, he would most probably reach the same miserable state that I was in. So now that I am back, what's next? And how do I plan to make content with no tech? Well, I'm sure that all of you have already seen that most creators don't actually own the tech they make content about. Like when the new Panther Lake from Intel dropped, basically no one had an actual device, but somehow there were dozens of videos online about it, some of them with literal hundreds of thousands of views. And now it's my turn. It's my turn to make content about tech, and hopefully in the future I'll get sponsorships from random tech companies, and eventually I'll get the tech I'm supposed to make content about. TechSage was with you, and don't forget, new fun videos are expected to come in the near future. So see ya next time.